Hello friends, busy day today, so welcome to my car. I don't think you've ever been in my car before. It's not my car, it's the family car. I'm on my way to a neighbour's place to feed their animals for them while they're away. And because it's such a busy day, I'm probably going to just be sharing snippets with you. I do have a topic that I want to talk about today, and that is rejection. What kind of rejection I want to be talking about is not necessarily like relationship rejection, but more about like everyday rejection. Just the day-to-day kind of things that you want and don't get. I'm going to give some examples, and I'm going to talk about ways that we can handle rejection that makes it turn on its head and turn it into a positive thing. So I've got some hungry animals waiting for me right now, and I'd better get over there and feed them. I always love it when I get home and I walk in the gate and this is the sight that greets me. The roses are all out, the nasturtium. It's so pretty at the moment. And this lawn right here is one of my favorite things ever. Over winter it looks absolutely awful, so it's really nice when springtime comes and it's all looking green and beautiful again. I've got lots of flowers. So nice. So yeah, I love getting home. The dogs like it when I get home too. Ready? Hey guys! Hey! Woo! Hey! Hey! Hey bud! Hey! 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 You've got to stay still for a minute. Now they're smelling my shoes because they can smell where I've been on a farm, feeding farm animals. Hey! There's Mr. Noodle. Okay, back home, and I'm having the essential tea for my morning tea. I'm actually fasting this morning, but I do a bit of a cheats fast because I still drink tea and coffee, and I drink them with milk in them, which is supposed to be a no-no, but I don't really care. It's okay, I'm fine with it. The reason that I'm doing a fast this morning is I'm trying to do a bit of a reset and get my diet back in order because it hadn't been good. I haven't been doing very well with it. I had reintroduced some processed foods that I hadn't been having before, and I've noticed that my skin has started to suffer. You can probably see it up here. It's starting with the redness and rash and all of that. Now, technically, I am not allergic to any foods, but I have noticed that if I do a very stripped back and very healthy diet, and I take the time to exercise and everything, not only is it great for me in every other way, but I tend to not have these weird flare-ups and I tend to just feel better. It's really easy to, when you're doing a special diet or a special lifestyle, to let it slip and sort of say to yourself, oh, you know, I don't think it's making that big a difference. I think I can afford to let these things slip back in. And then once they've slipped back in, then you start getting the impact of that again. So that's a long story for why I'm doing a fast this morning. I don't do a fast every day. It's just sometimes to kind of help reset because I do sometimes feel when I do a fast that it really helps me. It's beneficial. Anyway, so we're going to talk about rejection. Why do I look so happy about talking about rejection? Because I think it can be a positive thing. It doesn't always feel like a positive thing, but sometimes we need to kind of separate ourselves from our feelings and emotions to be able to get a correct perspective on what is actually going on. So there are three main ways that I think rejection can be a good thing. The first way is that being rejected allows you to grow in humility and also strengthens your character. The second one is that there is always a lesson in rejection. And you might have to look for the lesson, you might have to look past those hurt feelings, those negative feelings, to see what the lesson is. And then thirdly, it allows us to grow in maturity because we need to get to a place where we can move on. Now, I think the main way that we can do that, actually get to a place of being able to move on after rejection, is by aligning our will with God's will. And how do we do that? We do that simply by saying, God, your will be done, not mine. It can be really hard to accept because we have our own plans, we have our own hopes and dreams and goals and all of that. But if they don't align with God's plan for us, then we're going to be in for a lot of disappointment. If you can align your will with God's will for you, and you don't always know what that is, but it's things like rejection, an experience that teaches us and shows us what His will is in different situations. But if your will is aligned with His, then when something happens that doesn't feel good, like being rejected, we can accept that that's not what He wants for us in that situation, and then we can move on from there. So I said I was going to give a couple of examples. I have a couple of fresh examples for you that have just happened. You know, one thing I have to say is through being a business owner and being an online person, I have learned quite a bit about rejection in the past 8 years or so that I've been doing this. And I've found that it gets easier. It does get easier because it happens quite frequently. So my examples. The first one is that I applied for a, what should we call it? I don't want to give all the details, but it's like a brand sponsorship. And I was really hoping that I would get that sponsorship because it would be good exposure for me, and it would promote weaving, and I just thought it would be an all-round positive experience. I got rejected. I did not get accepted to the sponsorship. Now I'm going to talk about why this was a good thing for me. Well, my initial reaction didn't feel very good. My initial reaction was, well, why not? What more would I have to do to get a sponsorship like that? Why not me? You know, I've got a large online audience. I'm a full-time weaver and I have a weaving business. I'd be perfect for this sponsorship. Those were my first thoughts. So now my thoughts after reflecting on it are that, well, the sponsorship was not going to be a big thing monetarily. So there's that. I was going to have to do work, but I wasn't going to get a lot in return. It would have been just another thing to add to my ever increasing list of stuff that I had to do and be responsible for. And it also just showed me that for whatever reason, the timing wasn't right. It wasn't the right thing for me. And I'm all good with that. I feel good about it now. I'm fine. The second example is I had someone propose some work to me that's very relevant to my weaving business. And I agreed to do the work. And the person who was asking me to do the work said that they would send a contract. So I started work on the project so that I could get ahead, because I love getting ahead. I'm not a last minute person at all. And I was working away, and then I thought, that contract hasn't come through yet. I'm going to email the person and see what's going on. Maybe they forgot to send it. Maybe they've just been busy. So 2 emails to them later, and they've completely ghosted me. I've heard nothing. So I decided to stop work on the project, and where I'm at with it at the moment, even though I had started it and put a couple of hours into it already, I can use that content somewhere else at another time. It's not wasted content. But even if they contacted me now with the contract, I would be saying, look, I'm sorry, but I needed that contract signed weeks ago, and I needed to have been, to meet your deadline. So, okay, the lesson in this, well, I guess the first lesson is you can't always trust people. In fact, a lot of the time you can't trust people. You can't always take someone for their word. So that's why I stopped working on that project. If the contract wasn't going to come through, and it wasn't going to come through soon, then I wasn't going to put in the time for something that was probably not going to happen. It's also a good lesson in acceptance, that you can rely on people to do what they say they're going to do, but they just may not do it. And that's nothing to do with me. It's no fault of mine. It's just what the person has decided to do. Maybe something has happened in that person's life that I don't know about, and that has caused them to have to take a break from their work or whatever, and so not be able to contact me. That's looking on the bright side of what may have happened. But also, at this point, although I was a little frustrated to start with that they had not fulfilled what they said they were going to fulfill, I take this as a lesson, as God telling me, look, you really don't need this extra work at the moment. Yes, it's always nice to have some extra money, but I'm snowed down with work all the time. I have a ton of things to do all the time. And he knows that. He knows me, and he knows that I'll overwork myself. And so this particular rejection I saw as a lesson for me to just go, I don't need that right now. I have other things to do. It's not a big deal. Goodbye contract that never was. I'm not fussed. So once upon a time, maybe I would have been really upset by that. But as you get older, and as I get more experience as a business person as well, I'm willing to just let things go, because I know the stress, the anxiety, the frustration, the anger, all these things that I might have experienced in the past, and still do, but they're just not worth it. They are so not worth it. How much more freeing it is to just be able to say, oh well, see you later. That wasn't for me. I'm okay with that. It's all good. So that's rejection on a kind of basic level. When you're talking about rejection within relationships, well, that's a whole lot more deep, isn't it? There is a lot to delve into there. Maybe I will delve into that at some point. Maybe I won't. I don't know. If it's helpful to any of you, I'm happy to talk about most things if it's helpful to people. Obviously, there are some things that I don't have enough experience with. And I'd rather that you seek help from more appropriate places. But I love to help people. I like to talk things out. I like to think about things that are going to make me a better person, but are also going to make you a better person. That's the goal here. So anyway, if you have any thoughts on what you might like me to talk about in the future, any kind of videos that you would like to see here, obviously on this channel I am doing more vlog style or just talking videos, and on the weaving channel I do more tutorial based content and weaving based content. But here we can chat. and hopefully make it a really positive and close group of people here. Anyhow, I would love to hear from you in the comments if you have any contributions to make, or if you want to comment on today's topic. And I will be seeing you very soon.